Okay, so there's this 6-hour Dan Kennedy video where he just talks about wealth attraction. Every time I watch that video, I make a ton more money. And so I don't really know why, but every time I watch it, I make a ton more money. I'd recommend you watch it. I'll put it in the link in the description below. But here are 3 key takeaways that I take away from that video that have kind of shifted my mindset to think about how I can make more money. So these things are like, I've kind of never really heard anybody else talk about these. I don't know why. I really don't like to focus on mindset at all. Usually I tell you stop focusing on mindset because everybody's focusing on mindset and everyone's like, here, you should be down here. You know, if you're focusing on mindset and you're not even focusing on the money, I'm going to get into that in a minute, or actually like how to actually get results by actually taking action and not just meditating all day, you know, all that, right? Everybody's doing that and no one's really focusing on taking action. And so I don't really like talking about mindset, but these things have really changed the game for me. So number 1, giving. Okay, so I have noticed this shift in my life dramatically. So when I was starting, I started an agency, got a few clients, you know, started getting up and running, and it was every single day I felt like I was going to throw up because I had all these clients, I didn't know what to do with them, I didn't know how to get them results, and I was just trying to make sure that my life didn't fall apart the next day. And so I had some money in the bank, not a lot, and I was at church, and guy at church says, you know, give to the causes that you need to give to because God will bless you in the end. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to give. I gave like half of what I had. And so I gave this money. And then after, you know, and the Bible says, and this is a universal law, right? If you even don't believe the Bible, go ask any successful business person about giving. They will tell you the same thing, right? Universal law, which is if you give, it'll come back to you tenfold usually, right? If you give, you know, 10%, you'll get it back 200, right? So, and usually people are like, well, that's not really how it works. Any non-religious successful person will tell you the exact same thing, I promise. All right, so I give, and then nothing happens. After that, my business starts falling apart, and I'm like, bro, it's like, God, I thought we had this deal where if I gave to you, you're supposed to give me something back, you know, everything. You know, if I give you some money, you're supposed to give me back tenfold of that money, right? But it didn't happen, where things started to fall apart. And sometimes it doesn't happen immediately, right? Which you can't really expect to, you give and then the same day you're going to get, you know, it's like it's a machine or something. It's not a vending machine. It's not really how it works. It's just like you give and it's going to come back to you eventually. So everything fell apart. And then January, February, March, I was just trying to scrape by, trying to make some money. And then March, the same guy comes back to the church and he says, hey, you need to give. And I was like, the last time I did that, everything fell apart. So I don't want to do that again. But then things were happening and someone was like, you know, I don't really think you're really giving your all. I don't really think you're trying that hard. And I was like, I'm going to show you I'm trying as hard as I flipping can. All right. And then I gave everything I had. So I had like $1,000 in my bank and the money wasn't even mine. Right. So it was in my bank account, but I owed $2,800 on a credit card. And so like really it was negative $1,800. But I gave the $1,000 I had and I had 10 cents left in my bank account. After that, I made $10,000 in the next 3 weeks. After that, the next week, someone calls me and is like, hey, Carson, come down here. I want to pay you $10,000 to make this video. Great. After that, I made another $10,000 the next month. After that, I made another $20,000 the next month. And it just kept going and going and going. And then I continue to give and I continue to give and I continue to give. And every single time I give, like, you know, I always give 10% of everything I earn. But sometimes I'll give a little more. So like someone needs help, they're here, so I'll try to give there. Or someone else comes, and I'm not trying to brag about, this is just my personal experiences so that you can benefit, all right? So I'm not trying to brag. But someone came and was like, they were trying to buy a bus in Israel so that they can do ministry there or something, I don't know. And so I gave to that, right? So these different causes that I believe in, I give to those causes. And and every time I give, I always get something way more in return. And so I always make more money somehow. So it's like, I'll give 1,000, I get 20,000 back, or I give something here, I give something there. So I recommend every single thing you give, just give. You don't have to give to what I give to, right? There's no secret sauce of, you know, who I'm giving to. You don't have to give to a political party or something like that. You just have to give to whatever you're believing in, right? So if you want to give to starving kids somewhere, right? I was going to say in Africa, but there's starving kids in America, right? So if you want to give to Feeding America, give to that, right? Just give 10% of everything you earn to somewhere, right? The other thing I learned is that don't worry about the small things, right? Everybody focuses. I focus so much on gas prices. And I remember when I was in Florida, I was working with my friend Lucas, and he has a successful business. He does amazing. I used to work with him full time, and we were able to build some things up. It was really fun. But when I was there working with him, I was like, gas was like $4 a gallon at the time, where, and it used to be like $2.80, right? And so now it's like $4, and like everyone's freaking out because gas is getting so expensive. And I was like, oh, is that the highest it got? And he's like, you know what? I really don't know. Like, I haven't really noticed. And I was like, how do you not notice? Like, everybody that I know focuses on the gas price so much, right? They focus on what price is the gas today? What's it going to be tomorrow? Like, what's it going to be next week? Do I need to buy gas now, or do I need to buy gas in a week from now? But Dan Kennedy was saying, like, you're going to buy gas either way. Like, you're not going to not buy gas, right? It's like, whether or not, it doesn't matter how much it is, you're going to buy it regardless. Milk now costs $3 instead of $1.50. Holy cow. You're not going to not buy milk, right? So you're going to buy the milk either way. Why are you complaining about it? So if you're focusing on the small things, you're going to get small things. And so I think Alex Hormozi said this too, which was, the people that he knows that are doing the best are just focusing on much bigger things. Like, he was saying that people in at hedge funds, they call like $1 million a stick. So let's put a stick here, let's put a stick there. I think that's how they say it. And you treat $1 million like it's something small. And so if you're focusing on big things as if they're small and focusing on that rather than focusing on the $3 gas price, you're gonna get it farther ahead. So anyways, don't focus on the small things. That's something I learned from that, because it's like, it takes so much stress out of your life. Because I'm like, who cares about the gas price? I'm just gonna pump it up until it's full, and then that's it. Like, I'm not gonna check the price. I'm not gonna check how much it took out of my bank account. Like, I'm gonna buy it either way. Anyways, all right. Focus on it. So most people, and this comes to don't need it. I mean, you can like need it, but like don't be so desperate for it, but focus on it, right? So look at it, pay attention to it, don't need it, focus on it. Hopefully this makes sense. So in the, it's funny because I kind of explained this in another video, and I feel like I say that every video. I explained this in another video. There was the first time I watched this, I went to this event, and I had broken up with my girlfriend a couple weeks prior, right? And I watched this video, and I took it in a sense of like, what if it applied to dating, right? Which I'm sure it applies to like everything, right? These things apply to everything, but let's just say in dating, right? So I was like, what if I don't give like a certain girl's attention? And then I did that. And so I was kind of giving attention, or I was not like cutting them off completely, like, get out of my life, you're stupid. And, not that I wasn't focusing on it. So focus on it, but I don't really give attention to it where I'm like, I'm desperate and I'm needy, because we've all had somebody that's been kind of desperate and needy, and you're always like, whoa, bro. Not even like in a dating setting, just like in general, like you all had a friend that was like a little too overbearing. And as soon as they become overbearing, you're like, dude, this is kind of annoying. Or if you've ever had a dog that was like, just like whines and cries until you pet them. And as soon as you stop petting them, they keep whining and crying. You just like, this becomes a relationship that with your dog, right? It becomes a relationship where you're like, I have to give you more than what you're giving me. And it's kind of annoying. But you see the dogs that are just kind of walking around, they kind of come past you. They're real, not shy, but they just walk. They're not overbearing. They're not jumping on you or anything. And then they lay their head on your lap, and you're like, oh, that's really sweet. This dog could have picked anybody, but they sat on my lap, and it seems like they don't care. But as soon as they sat in your lap, you're like, oh, okay, well, now I'm going to pet them. I'm going to give them attention because they're kind of giving me attention. I know this sounds so dumb, but hopefully you get the picture. We're not really paying attention to it, or we're paying attention to it, but we're not giving into it. We're not desperate for it. And so I was at this event, and this girl starts talking to me, and then I'm just like, yeah, yeah. And then I talk to my friends. I'm not being rude at all, and just talking to friends and family and all that stuff. And then they come, and then they sit next to me, and then they keep trying to get my attention. And I was like, it's crazy. I literally said that. I was like, it's crazy how well this works. Like, I'm not even trying to, I'm not trying anything. And it's just like, you're trying so hard just to get my attention, because I'm not really giving you attention. I'm not trying to, this sounds kind of wrong. But anyways, you don't be desperate for it. So when you do that to a client, when you're trying to be desperate and you're like, I really need the money, bro. I really want to help you, and I really want to do this. I'll give you half off. All right, I'll give you half off if you say yes today. I just want to get this going as soon as possible. They're gonna feel that, all right? And then, but when I go in and I'm like, I really don't need this, right? I go into a sales call and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna give you value. I'm gonna try to help you out as much as I can on this call. And after that, if we want to move forward, we can move forward and do something from there. And then I also don't try to push. Like, I'll follow up with people a couple times, but I'm not gonna push. And usually, like, I'll follow up a couple times, and then it'll kind of fade away for like a couple weeks, and then they'll come back and be like, yeah, Carson, let's move forward. I'm like, all right, great. And so, being desperate, we're like, please buy something from me. It's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. And so if you focus on it, right? So we want to focus on the numbers, right? Where we have daily goals, we have weekly goals, we have monthly goals. So I want to reach 50K this month. That means if I need to reach 50K, that means I need to reach 12.5K a week or something like that. And that means I need to do this much per day, right? And so you calculate the numbers, you look at your daily sheets or like where you're at every month. You check your bank account. If you check your bank account more often, right? Because most of the time, I'll see those memes where it's like when you don't want to check your bank account because of how low it is. If you keep checking your bank account, you realize, oh snap, it's getting low, right? You'll get kicked in the gear and then you'll start doing something, trying to get results back in the door. Or if you stop checking your bank account and you just stop caring, then you're like, well, you're not focusing on it, and so then it's going to go down, right? And then you finally check on it, and you're like, oh snap, I need to get this back into gear. So if you focus on it, right? Focus on it. Don't be desperate for it, but give it attention. Give it enough attention where you know your goals, you know your numbers, you know what to do or where you need to be at, but don't be desperate for it. All right. Those 3 things have really helped me out in terms of what I learned from this video. Again, it's like a 6-7 hour video. I don't recommend you watching it all in one sitting. What I'll do is I'll drive in the car or I'll listen to it. Kind of like reading a book, right? It's kind of like a book. So watch it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you soon.